Hello guys, this is Amol Khedkar. I welcome you to this video. This will be an interesting video and what I'll be discussing is that why you should not go for US citizenship. Many people don't know what are the tax obligations, what exactly are the rules and laws. I have studied most of these things, so I will give you a very detailed idea about how exactly this goes along. So please don't forget to watch this video right till the end. And before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel because nobody else is going to give you this kind of information that I'm going to give you right now. Everybody will tell you that you should just go on having US citizenship as if that's like the ticket for everything, but that's not the case. Please bear things in mind before you go for something like this. So let's get started. This is an article from the CNBC. What it says is that why accidental Americans have an uphill battle with the IRS. IRS is the Internal Revenue Service, which is the tax agency of America, in case you don't know. So, who are the accidental Americans? So, they will delve into this topic just in this article. So, let's look at a few points here. The key points are accidental Americans are considered US citizens but are unaware of their status. So, these people don't know that they are American citizens. How does that happen? Let's find out. They may have been born in the US but resided here briefly, or they have at least one parent who is a US citizen. So America is an insane country, to be very honest with you. What they do is that if at least your one parent is a US citizen, then you are automatically an American citizen. Whether you are born in America or whether you are born on other soil, it doesn't matter. It's a maddeningly insane thing, and people still don't understand why they have this kind of an insane law. But yeah, they do something like this. These individuals must file income, estate, and gift tax returns with the IRS. So, as you know, America has this maddeningly insane rule called double taxation, and so people have to file double income taxes, like the income tax in their own country as well as in America. They must also tell federal authorities about their foreign accounts. So yeah, I don't even understand why they have these kind of insane laws, but to be honest, I think in my honest opinion, it's only because they want to tax the hell out of you. That's the only reason. So that's why you should think twice or thrice or 10 times before taking up American citizenship, because if you take up US citizenship and you want to open a bank account anywhere else in the entire world, so right now, America is literally burning like hell. Like there are hundreds of cities that are literally on curfews. You have a moronic person as Trump as your president. So if you want to get out right now and you are an American citizen right now, it is a very difficult process. It's not that easy to give up American citizenship. And even if you go outside, foreign countries don't want to deal with Americans. If you have an American passport, they don't even want to deal with you. This is a reality. Foreign companies and foreign banks don't want to deal with American citizens. That's just a plain fact. Compliance can be complicated. Accidental Americans must obtain a social security number or an individual taxpayer identification number to report to the IRS. So these peoples, they don't even know that they are US citizens. But even if you are a US citizen right now, you have to comply by the tax laws no matter where you go in the entire world. Even if you go to Antarctica, you still have to file taxes with the US government, which is insane. So this is this guy who is 54, has lived in the United Kingdom for the last 53 years. He was born in Nashville in Tennessee, making him an accidental American. So this guy has literally lived in the US for 1 year of his life, but even then he has to file taxes with the US government for the rest of his life, which is pretty insane to be honest. But yeah, that's how the US maddening law works. Kevin Earl of Manchester, England may not feel like he is an American. The IRS would say otherwise. So just because this man was born in Tennessee, the IRS, which is the revenue agency of America, considers him as an American citizen. The 54-year-old was born in Nashville, Tennessee to British parents. He stayed in the US for about a year before moving to the United Kingdom, where he has lived ever since. I have an American birth certificate and a document that's registry of live birth from the British consulate. The IT consultant said, I have always considered myself British. This wasn't a problem until Earl opened a bank account in England and put down Nashville as his place of birth on the application. So when this guy wanted to open up a bank account in England, which is in the UK, they wanted to ask him where he was born, and he put on that application that he was born in Nashville, which is in Tennessee, because that's what his birth certificate said. And when he did that, then just look at what happened. His answer kicked off another request from the bank. We need your social security number. If you don't know what is a social security number, then that's like a number that you have to use, that every person gets for tax filing purposes and for many other purposes. So when he said that he was born in Nashville in Tennessee, the bank told him that you need to give us your SSN, because we need to comply with the US government's tax obligations. Earl is among thousands of accidental Americans residing in Europe who are finding out that they are subject to tax reporting requirements from the IRS, as well as foreign account filings with the Treasury Department. Yeah, America does not leave its citizens so easily. It is not that easy to give up American citizenship. The fees are exorbitant. There is something called the exit tax. There are many, many complications. To be honest with you, many people just feel very fortunate that, their child is being born in America. To be honest with you, if you ask me, that is a curse. American citizenship is a curse. It is not a blessing. Please mark my words. About 9 million Americans reside abroad, according to the US Department of State. 9 million people reside abroad, and if Trump gets re-elected, which I think he will, many, many people will want to go abroad. But even if they go abroad, they will still have to file taxes with the US government. That's how insane the law is. Accidental Americans, individuals who are US citizens because they were born here or because they had at least one parent who is a US citizen, don't identify as such. The US taxes individuals globally based on their citizenship, meaning they must file income, estate, and gift tax returns with the IRS. The US taxes individuals globally based on their citizenship, meaning they must file income, estate, and gift tax returns with the IRS. So any income that you generate outside of America, you have to file a tax return with America, which is just insane. I mean, if you are a citizen of India, suppose, right, and you earn any income in India, then you are filing a tax return in India, like you are paying taxes in India, right? But not just that, you also have to pay taxes in America. So that's what it's called, double taxation. The US, so they have to comply with FATCA, but the truth is that many US citizens don't have a social security number, and to get one is pretty trying process. So US government wants them to pay taxes in America, but these people don't even have a social security number, and which is very hard to get if you are not residing in America. This is a very insane thing, and I have studied the US immigration law very, very carefully, and I can tell you it is an absolute disaster. US immigration law is so complex, it is so insane, it is so outdated. There is absolutely no logic to this madness. Even those who want to comply have a difficult road ahead. So even if you want to comply, when you are living outside of America, there is a difficult road ahead, because they don't make it easy for you to comply. They need to secure piles of documentation to obtain a social security number or individual taxpayer identification number and begin filing their taxes. They need to secure piles of documentation. The IRS literally wants you to submit like piles and piles of documentation to get the SSN or individual taxpayer identification number, and then start filing taxes, which is really, all they are making it very complicated, because they want people to not renounce US citizenship. They want to keep people tied to America as much as possible. Why? Because they need their taxes. That's just the plain fact. Further, foreign banks are required to share information with the IRS on their American account holders. Absolutely true. No doubt about this. This is an article from the CNBC, which is a very, very reputed news organization. If you don't know, foreign banks are required to share information with the IRS on their American account holders. So if you have an American passport, you go to Russia and start opening, want to open like a bank account in Russia. You cannot do that unless you get a letter from the IRS saying that all the financial information of this person will be reported to the IRS. Same thing in India. So I am a native of India. If I want to go back to India and I want to open up a bank account in India, then the bank over there tells me that because you have an American passport, that's why you will need to comply with the tax regulations of America. Even if you don't live in America, you will have to comply with the tax regulations of America, which is how the US law works. And this is not just because of Trump. This has been in place for decades now. So the institutions are now asking these customers for their SSN or ITIN. So these foreign banks are now asking these customers for their SSN or ITIN, even though these people have never even lived in America. So even if you are right now an American citizen and if you go out and live in some other country, you are still liable to the US government. If you are someone who happens to be born in the US to French or German parents and you leave at an early age, you don't associate with being a US person, said David McKeegan, co-founder of Greenback Expat Tax Services. One day you get a letter from your bank saying you are an American and that they need your social security number, he said. Your first response is, I'm not American. So yeah, this kind of thing has been happening for decades now. Banks just don't want to deal with American citizens because there are a whole lot of tax filing obligations that they don't even want to get into. So people have been seeing these kind of insane articles and banks asking for like a very different kind of things out of nowhere. I have met few people in India that are fed up with double taxation and they want to get rid of the US citizenship, but US government is just not allowing them to do that. Not just that, if you are a minor and you are born in America as a minor, like if you are born in America and you have citizenship by birth, you cannot renounce the citizenship until you are 18. So your parents will not be able to force you to give up your citizenship. So US government if the US government feels that your parents or your guardians are forcing you to give up the citizenship, then they can literally tell you that this person will decide by himself after he turns 18 whether he wants to keep US citizenship or not keep US citizenship. So by that time, he will have an option of how exactly to go about it. That's why US government does not want to let go of its citizens very easily. Why? Because of the tax obligations. That's the very, very important fact that everybody should understand. At the heart of the matter is the FATCA law, which requires Americans to tell federal authorities about their foreign accounts. Very, very true. These Americans must file a report of foreign bank and financial accounts, or FBAR, with the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. They have a network called Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. So if you are outside of America for say 10 years, 15 years and you don't pay any taxes to the US government, they can literally freeze your bank account. These are actual facts. You are required to file an FBAR if you had an interest in or signatory authority over at least one account outside the US and the aggregate value of all foreign accounts exceeded $10,000 at any time in the year. So even if you are making more than $10,000, which is not a very big amount, US government wants you to tell everything to it. This is what is called as Big Brother government. This is what is called as the government just taking everything from you, and they want you to file taxes as much as possible. Failure to submit an FBAR comes with hefty fines. If you are an American citizen, if you are living outside of America, and if you don't submit an FBAR, which is for foreign bank and financial accounts, that form, then you can be subjected to hefty fines. There is a $12,000 to $13,000 penalty for non-willful violations, while individuals who flout the law could face fines of up to $129,000 or 50% of the account. So you can face fines of up to 50% of the account. So if your entire tax obligation is say $1 million, you literally have to face like say $500,000 along with it. Separately, citizens who file an FBAR may also need to submit this form to the IRS. This is known as Statement of Specified Foreign Assets. Whether you are required to submit this form depends on where you reside and whether your foreign asset holdings meet a set threshold. The IRS has sought to simplify FATCA compliance for Americans abroad through streamlined compliance procedure and additional amnesty for those who have given up their citizenship. In both cases, these people must file back taxes. The complexity of tax compliance has led some Americans overseas to renounce their citizenship. More than 600 people took this step in the second quarter, according to the IRS. Foreign financial institutions have compliance requirements with FATCA. They must share with the IRS information on American account holders. The IRS gave these banks until the end of 2019 to obtain an ITIN or social security number for these clients or else face penalties. So what the IRS does is that the Internal Revenue Service of America, what it does is that it communicates with the banks, the foreign banks. So anything that is outside of America, even if it is in Canada, then it's a foreign bank. And they tell these banks that if you have American citizen, then you need to give us all the information of this person or else you will face penalties. So it's just complete blackmail by America. There's no other way of saying this. But yeah, they do these kind of very shady things. They have to comply with FATCA, but the truth is that many US citizens don't have a social security number, and to get one is a pretty trying process. These individuals must go to the US Embassy in their country of residence, apply for a social security number, and provide an official birth certificate and additional documents to prove they have been living abroad all this time. For instance, Xavier, 68, who originally born in Washington, D.C., has had to travel more than 300 miles to the Federal Benefits Unit at the US Embassy in Paris to apply for a social security number. The retiree, who resides in a suburb west of Paris, moved to France in 1965. He did not want to share his full name as he isn't in compliance with the FATCA yet. This guy moved to France in 1965. Even now, they are not, letting him go. You understand why I'm saying that you should not take up US citizenship? This is the exactly why I mean to say that. Because US citizenship really comes with its own pros and cons. It comes with its own strings attached. It's not like a very very important thing that you just get it and then you are like the king of the world. It's nothing like that. The authorities asked for an official birth certificate, which Xavier couldn't obtain because he didn't have sufficient documentation and proof of identity. He is now working on getting an ITIN instead, which warrants another trip to the embassy. I can cope with this well. I speak English and I have time because I'm retired, Xavier said. Other people can't do this so easily, and I maintain that some will never be able to follow this procedure. So yeah, America has many problems as such. There are many things that people just don't like about America, whether it's politics or Trump or wars or what guns or opioid crisis. Many things. America has many flaws. So if you want to get out of America and give up the US citizenship, American government doesn't even make it that easy. You cannot renounce your US citizenship just by throwing off your passport. It's not that easy. There are many complications to it, and there is a whole lot of fee that you have to pay. You have to comply with taxes which are literally very high. And that's why I think I lived in America for say 8 years of my life, and I researched all of these things about how exactly to go with the green card or citizenship application and all of those things. But to be honest, after I researched, I really found out that it is not worth it to take up American citizenship, because there are many strings attached, and America does not allow people to roam freely after you have become a US citizen. That's why so many people are renouncing American citizenship. So if you like my analysis of this article, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.